Welcome back to the presentation on single degree of freedom systems. So, in the last lecture, we have seen the basic types of vibrations based on the excitation of force. So, there are two types, free and force vibrations. Then we have seen based on the external resistance, that is damped and undamped vibrations. Then we have seen based on the mathematical model, so linear vibrations and nonlinear vibrations, and deterministic vibrations and random vibrations, that is periodic and aperiodic vibrations. Now we will see the next type of vibration, that is when the system is vibrating with respect to the axis. So there is one longitudinal vibration. In this case you can see this is the axis of this particular shaft, and this is a disc or some mass is attached here. So if it is vibrating vertically like this along the axis of it, it is called as longitudinal vibrations. And in this case you can see it is a cantilever beam. Now this mass is here, and if it is vibrating in this way, which is perpendicular to this axis of this particular shaft or this beam, so you can see that it is a transverse vibration. And in this case, now the same shaft and this particular disc, it is rotating about this axis, if you see in the top view. So this is called as torsional vibration. So also we have seen that when there are two springs in series, then to get the equivalent stiffness we have to use this equation, that is 1 by k is equal to 1 by k1 plus 1 by k2. And when the springs are in parallel, so to combine these two springs k1 and k2, we have to write k is equal to k1 plus k2. And now we will talk about the how we can make the physical and mathematical modeling of vibrating systems. So this actually particularly we are doing it to represent all the features of the system for deriving mathematical model or analytical equations governing the behavior of the system. So in this case actually we are preparing an elementary model which is created to get quick understanding of the overall behavior of the system. So it is developed by adding more number of components to observe its behavior more closely. So in general, the basic design methodology for any systems will be like this. So general case is that initially we have to understand the physical system. So let us take example of an automobile here. Now it is an automobile, it is a car. We are considering that this is a physical system. Now what is the problem definition after that? Now how we have to define this particular automobile into a mathematical model? So we have to define a problem. So what is the problem here? So we are expecting that the rider should have the comfort, and it should have minimize the vertical acceleration of the rider. So this is our objective, or this is our problem statement. So what we are doing is we are idealizing the physical model. Idealizing the physical model, it means deciding which are the different components of this particular main system which are responsible for giving this output. That means if we expect the rider comfort, then which are the components in this particular system which are going to provide the comfort to the rider, or which are responsible for it. So that is nothing but the tires, the suspension system, the seat, and the rider itself. So these are the different components. Now we have to make use of these components to represent it into a mathematical model. So this is the thing what called this representation when we prepare with the help of these few components, that is called as lumped parameter model. So we can specify the stiffness of the suspension system and the damping of the suspension system, as well as tires and the seat, with the help of our basic three components, that is spring, mass, and the damper. So we can have the physical model of it. Now once we got the physical model, then we have to go for the analysis of this particular model. So for analysis of this model, we are going to use the equation of motion. Like we are going to find out the external forces acting on that system and the internal resistance given by that particular system, that is nothing but inertia force. So generally force will be given by mass into acceleration. So we have to analyze the different forces. So once we analyze the different forces, then we can get the number of different equations for this particular system. So that is nothing but the differential equations that we will get. It means we can see the variation of those different parameters with respect to the excitation. So once we got the different number of equations, which depends upon the degrees of freedom in the system. If it is single degree of freedom system, so you will get one equation. If it is 2 degree of freedom system, you will get the two equations. And accordingly, for multi degree of freedom systems, we can have the multiple number of differential equations which will represent the motion of that particular system. So next is the interpretation of results. That means once we get the differential equations, we have to solve those differential equations, and we have to find out the solution of those differential equations. So solution of differential equations means nothing but the response of that particular system with respect to the time. So there are different parameters which involves in the vibration, that is nothing but the position, means the displacement, velocity, and the acceleration and the forces. So how these displacement, velocity, and accelerations are going to vary with the time, that we have to interpret. It means now our requirement was that there should be minimum acceleration in the vertical direction of the rider. So we should see that how we can get this acceleration which is required to be minimum, and to make this acceleration minimum, what we need to make the changes in the system. So that changes in the system, or the changes in the suspension of the system, or in the damping of the system, that you have to make. So this is nothing but the last step, that is modification of the physical system or design, and repeat as necessary. So this you have to repeat again and again. It means you have to change some particular parameter and observe these particular results, means what is the distance, direction, acceleration. And if these required results are in control, then you have to stop your work over there, and that is what is your final design of the system. So here simply the definition of the dynamic system is specified. Okay, now we will see how we can make the mathematical modeling for a forging hammer. So let us see here. Now you can see this particular is a forging hammer. So if you observe this particular forging hammer, you will find out that this particular forging hammer is mounted over this particular ground. So it is nothing but the soil here, and there is one foundation block used. Over this foundation block there is an elastic pad, and over this elastic pad there is an anvil kept. Now you can see this is nothing but the frame of this particular hammer, and this is the top. So impact will be given through this top over the job, because job will be kept between this anvil and the particular top. So if your job is here, which you are going to give some sort of shapes, so impact will be given by this particular top, and this impact will be transferred from the anvil to this elastic pad to the foundation, and from this foundation to the soil. So this soil has to damp down that particular impact forces. So let us represent the simplest mathematical model, that is single degree of freedom model, here for this particular forging hammer. So here you can find out that, so we are considering the stiffness of the soil and damping of the soil. So we are going to represent the damping of the soil by a damper, and the stiffness of the soil by using a spring. And this particular total mass which is mounted over this, that is anvil mass, and the foundation block is mounted over this particular soil. And this is nothing but the external excitation force given by the stuff, that is nothing but an impact. So whenever your impact will be given, this particular anvil and the foundation block will have some displacement, and that displacement will be depending upon the stiffness and damping. It will have this particular movement of it. Now if you have to go into more detailed model of this, we can provide the detailed model by using this elastic pad stiffness and damping. So here you can see that this is the damping which is possible in the elastic pad, and this is nothing but the stiffness of the elastic pad. So this anvil is mounted over the elastic pad, so anvil mass is taken here, and this particular elastic pad, its damping and stiffness put here, and this elastic pad is mounted over the foundation block. So foundation block mass is taken here, and below that there is a soil. It means over the soil there is a foundation block, over the foundation block there is elastic pad which is having stiffness and damping, and over that it is anvil mounted, and on the top of that there is a impact hammer. So top is there, which is going to provide the force. So you will find here that this is a 2 degree of freedom model we can represent for this particular forging hammer. Similarly, we can show the uh, dynamic model or mathematical model for a bicycle. So in case of a bicycle, generally if you see, the bicycle is having its frame here, and these are tires, and this is nothing but a road over which this bicycle is moving, and the rider is sitting over this seat. So the simplest mathematical model if you have to consider here, so if I consider only the stiffness and damping in the tire, whatever is there, so I am going to represent the stiffness of the seat and the tire here, and the stiffness of the seat and the damping of the seat and tire over here. So stiffness and damping if I consider for the seat and the tire, then I can represent the simplest mathematical model of this like this. So here I am going to consider the mass of the rider plus mass of the frame, whatever is there. So this is nothing but simplified mathematical model. Now again, if I have to go for in detail model of this, what I can do is I can provide the this portion separate and this portion separate, means having stiffness and damping. So if I specify here the stiffness of tire here, and damping of the tire at the bottom, and then I'm going to consider mass of the frame, because this frame is mounted over this particular tires, and over this frame again there is a seat over there. So seat stiffness and seat damping, and over that the rider is sitting. So this is what is the 2 degree of freedom model for this particular cycle. But in general, the tire may not have, suppose, damping. So if we do not consider tire damping, in that case the model may be different. So if I consider only stiffness over there, So single degree of freedom model for that bicycle will be like this. So this is the mass, total mass maybe of the rider and the bicycle total consider over here, and the stiffness of the two tires. So I can represent the simplest model like this, single degree of freedom model. Now I have to go for in detail analysis of this. So I can specify the tire, means rear tire and the front tire stiffness over here, okay, and then seat stiffness over here, and means if I consider there is a two springs in the seat, definitely always there are two helical compression springs generally provided on the seat. So two springs are here, and this is nothing but the mass of the vehicle and the mass of the rider, means total mass is considered over this, which is going to act over this particular seat spring, okay, and this mw is the mass of the wheels, front wheel and the rear wheel. So these are the mass of the front wheel and rear wheels, and this is the mass of the vehicle and the mass of the rider. Also again, if I consider there is a stiffness and the damping in the rider also, in that case this is the mass of the rider, this is the stiffness and the damping of the rider. This particular rider is sitting over the bicycle weight, so this is the mass of the cycle. So it is having this front and these are two seat springs, and this is the wheel masses, and this is nothing but the stiffness of the first front and rear tires, and it's nothing but the road surface. So this is nothing but an actual model of this particular bicycle. So similarly, on the basis of this, we can prepare the mathematical model for a rider which is moving over a motorbike. So we will discuss this particular in the next slide or the next video.